I am enough. You are enough. We are enough. How's that land? Welcome to this episode where we're going to explore the consciousness of I am enough. When we come from this place of I am enough, we don't feel we have to prove anything. We don't have to get something, be something, do something, heal something in order to feel like we've arrived, in order to feel like we're worthy of something, or then we'll be happy with something. So the challenge with this is that oftentimes we'll be operating from a sense or a feeling of not feeling good enough, and we're not aware of it because it's so unconscious. And part of that is because we have a lot of conditioning where we're used to and trained to go outside of ourselves for something, whether that's approval of something or it's to get something, and we were in this kind of consciousness previously which set that up. And so now we're learning how to really come back to the sense of our true spiritual nature, our true sense of self, and remember that we are a spiritual being having a human experience. So we already are whole at our true nature. I love the Rumi quote where he talks about the fact that we actually are love. And really our whole journey here in this earth school is to discover where we have beliefs, limitations, veils, illusions, delusions that are actually keeping us from experiencing our true nature of sense of love or light, of wholeness, or forgetting that we are that. So, a lot of our journey from that consciousness, that perspective, is about coming back into the remembrance of who we are. So the highest actual form of self-respect coming from this consciousness is when we are in alignment to our own inner resonance and in our guidance. So coming back to that concept that we are a spiritual being having a human experience. And if our spiritual essence has our divine unique blueprint, then when we can learn how to honor that unique divine blueprint, learn how to listen to our soul's guidance through our resonance, to be able to go within and ask, is this actually feeling of alignment with me at this time? Does this feel right for me at this time? Is this a truth for me at this time, without judgment? Then we're able to act from that place. And from there, we can start to transcend the polarity of judgment. We can transcend the polarity of competition and comparison. Because the previous setup, or if we're operating from a place of I'm not good enough, there's going to be something that we're coming from a place of lack. And that's going to keep us in this place of I'm not there yet. And I'll never be there if I'm coming from the consciousness of lack, because whatever I'm platforming my action from, or my trajectory from, is going to be the consciousness that I then experience as a result. So if I'm operating from a place of I have to acquire something before I can feel happy, then that means if I'm coming from that place, I have to get something before I'm happy, I will never actually arrive to the sense and the feeling of being happy. The invitation for us now is to be able to go within and say, I need to come into alignment first to this essence of happiness. And then whatever I'm doing or what I will attract or magnetize will then bring me more happiness. But it's not going to come from something that's outside of me first. So same thing when we're operating from this sense of I'm not good enough, that's coming from a place of lack, which means we're never going to feel good about what we're doing or what we've accomplished. We may for a period of time, but it won't stick and it won't feel fulfilling. It won't feel deeply meaningful to us. And that will keep us in a place also, most importantly, where we're disconnected from self-love, from our highest self-esteem, highest self-worth, and highest self-respect. So the highest form of self-respect is when we're actually able to come back into the honoring of our own divine blueprint. And from that place, we remember that we each are here for our own different reasons, and we all have different paths, and not that one is better than the other or worse than the other. It means that we all have our own unique path to kind of experience, as well as our own unique special contributions and gifts and abilities to offer. And so if we're always trying to go outside of something, we're eclipsing our own soul, we're eclipsing our own divine blueprint, and we're staying kind of not only just separate, but that can be very paralyzing for us to be able to really start to explore what we've come here to do, and what we've come here to do from that place, that deep place of being able to honor our true and own inner resonance. That is where we truly start to discover and experience real deep meaning and fulfillment. It is our highest path of fulfillment. So when we come from a place of true self-worth, we understand and know that our worthiness is not based or determined by anything outside of us. We remember that our essence is, our true essence comes from what truly honor is resonating with us. And when we can honor and act on that, that's when life gets super interesting, and we get to be in the actual process rather than trying to arrive somewhere. Because it's, probably heard this many times, it's not about the arrival, it's not about the destination, it's really about the journey. And it really is about the journey, because the experience, this is an experiential school. And so every time we can come back into the present moment and being able to just settle into, what is this about for me? What am I learning here? How am I growing because of this experience or this situation? Or how can I try to do what I feel like I want to do, but I'm so nervous about it, or I don't feel like I have the right skills yet, or I don't, it's not time yet, or what if I fail at this? Or, that paralyzes us from actually trying things or expressing ourselves, and therefore really living life. And that just feels very hollow after, if not in the moment. So the real invitation for us when we start to learn and walk on this path of I am enough is first recognizing that there really truly is nothing we need to do, become, heal, acquire, get in order to be something, because we already are something. What are we? We are, and then you fill in that blank. And that's the tip or tool for this episode is actually just go through your day and just ask, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And see what starts to come forth. No agenda to it, no pressure of time or anything that you feel like you need to get it. I what if I miss it? It's just really about starting to ask, who am I? And really looking at, what are my personal values? And am I honoring? So if I, first of all, I'm clear on my values, and then am I living in my values? Am I in alignment with my values? So these are two ways that we can stay in our own lane and in our own authority, because when we operate from a place of not feeling good enough, we're going to be very easily hijacked out of our sovereignty, and we will start to acquiesce our own inner guidance, if we even hear it at all, and we will never again feel like we've ever arrived. So it just sets up so much disappointment, discouragement, discontent. So really learning to come back and be in the experience and in the journey really then starts to align us to this path of joy, but path of deep sense of wholeness or fulfillment. And it doesn't mean we don't still want to strive for excellency. And it doesn't mean we don't want to strive for mastery. We do. We're just approaching it very differently. So an example would be, if we're approaching, say we're developing a skill to cook, and you might just all of a sudden be prompted or inspired to try some new recipes, or just experiment with different ingredients, and you're doing it intuitively. There could all of a sudden be this pressure, like, well, my mom or my friend or my sister or whoever, they are amazing cooks. I'll never be able to get, as good as they are. Well, we won't if we don't start to try. And what if it's not about, at this point, or maybe at all, getting to a point where I have to be like somebody else? I'm just honoring, this is inspiring for me, and I'm going to explore it, and I'm going to be curious about it, and I'm going to have fun with it. And I'm going to play with it, or I'm going to approach it from a place of, I'm just going to start with where I'm at and see what unfolds. And then you might spend a few weeks just playing with that, and all of a sudden you realize, like, wow, I've become really comfortable, and I actually have pulled out some pretty good meals from this experience. And that could be the completion of that particular first layer of learning. And so that's kind of the process of mastery. So it's learning how to recognize when have I arrived to a completion of something. So that could be, well, wow, I'm actually a little bit more confident. And most importantly, I had fun doing this. I was light about it. I wasn't putting pressure on me. I wasn't comparing. I just allowed myself just to be really, in this experience. That in of itself is huge. And that in of itself is a definite completion of something. And then you go from there. And that's kind of the process of the learning. So when we approach it from a place of, even if we have an amazing skill, say you're an amazing singer, say you're an amazing artist or an amazing athlete, or something where, you're an amazing builder, you can just craft things like so beautifully. So we're always going to be refining what, our gifts and abilities are. And our gifts and abilities really are part of the blueprint of what we've come in this incarnation to contribute. And again, it's not coming from a place of I have to do this or I should do this or I have to be this before I can go out and offer my gifts and abilities. It's really about just, again, each stage and step along the way. Where am I? And, what is this stage teaching me? And what's my opportunity in this experience at this time? And being able to explore from that each stage along the way rather than putting all this stress and this pressure. But most importantly, most of the time it paralyzes us and we never get to actually, even if we do move forward with things, very difficult to really enjoy ourselves, enjoy the experience or enjoy the relationships that we're in as a result of it. So when we feel like we're good enough, we don't feel we have to hustle for anything. We don't have to earn anything. We don't have to explain things. We can know what our own role is. We know what our own divine blueprint is, and we're able to have the confidence and the calm confidence to actually start to really experience and enjoy each moment, each stage, or each experience, and most importantly, ourselves. We really are conditioned to go outward, and that really does set up a lot of competition and a lot of lack and a lot of not feeling good enough, like not feeling significant enough. So when we know that's not really, what if that's not really at all what this is about? What if it's about, like, we are all just here to contribute. We have our own unique special contributions and abilities and ways to do that. And that's the joy. The joy is discovering what that is for ourselves. And when we do that, we start to come from a place just of such high alignment, and we are serving our highest good, which by proxy will serve the highest good for all others. So this can seem sometimes like, maybe a bit selfish. It's only selfish if we're really truly not in alignment. If we're really in alignment with our highest purpose and our highest good. And that's tricky because I don't mean higher purpose, like I have to figure out my purpose why I'm here. Each step and stage along the way, when we're in the present moment and we're learning, growing, and healing, we are in ultimately our highest purpose, because it's about the journey. Really, it's about the evolution, and it's about the transformation. And when we can relax and enjoy that, we can approach, our experiences and our day, our relationships from that place, it really starts to take out the pressure, it takes out the heaviness, it takes out the stress, and it takes out, most importantly, fear and separation consciousness. So when we start to approach life and ourselves from this highest consciousness of self-respect, which is honoring our own resonance, then we are in our own authority. And when we are in our own authority, we are entering into our own sovereignty. And from that place, we won't be limited or conditioned or suppressed. And we won't be hijacked by what somebody else thinks we should do. Self-esteem is interesting. Self-esteem and self-worth are two different soul qualities, but they work together. They're kind of like bridged together, because our self-worth cannot exceed beyond the level of our self-esteem. And so an example of this would be if I feel in my self-esteem, I feel like I've always got to be earning something or getting somebody else's approval or getting somebody else's acceptance or support, then I could have 5 people that will have a different perception and perspective and beliefs and programming about what that particular thing might be. And so I could never please everybody anyway. And so I can spend all this drain of energy and my power. I'll drain my power by trying to appease or please something outside of me or somebody else. And then on top of that, it's keeping me out of my alignment. So it won't feel good. And the more we get into these higher frequencies, these higher energies, the more we're, kind of really coming into this consciousness of becoming a soul infused personality. This is going to get even more uncomfortable, and it's going to feel more and more not good at all, actually. So when we can just come back to, I am enough, and just really being able to approach life that way. Still, I want to grow. Still, I want to refine, and I want to refine, and I want to continue to expand. Comes from a different place, though. It's not coming from a place of pressure. It's not coming from a place of a place where there's this lack of consciousness. It's totally coming from a beautiful place of, I'm going to be curious and I'm going to continue to develop and explore what is my potential. And in that, I'm going to be able to show up in such a more heart-centered, authentic, empowered way than everybody can benefit from. Then it's a win-win. So your takeaway today is, can you really approach your day in that way and start to ask, am I in my own authority? Am I in my own authority of my own feelings? Am I choosing? We always have an opportunity to choose a door. I can choose a door of anxiety. I can choose a door of worry. I can choose a door of fear. Or I can choose a door of happiness. I can choose a door of peace. I can choose a door of curiosity. I'm not saying that we don't still have to process emotions, but coming from this consciousness or this concept of I am enough, we are going to be presented with aspects of ourselves that aren't going to feel good enough, worthy enough, ready enough, all of it. So when we do, we can have in that moment a choice of the door we're going to choose. I can still feel nervous about something, or I can still feel incompetent about something, and I know that I can't get competent unless I start to try. I can't get experienced unless I start to try. So what if I approach it from that place of, yeah, I feel a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit vulnerable, and have the humility enough to be able to get out of my way and to be able to approach it and try, and see what happens. So, having that courage to be able to honor our own inner resonance, that could be the first most and is the first most important step in coming into I am enough, because it's really through this soul's guidance that we really start to get that grit and get that confidence and the steadiness, because we're still going to have, these outer relationships or these outer energies that we need to deal with and navigate through. And so doing that and being able to stay in our own steadiness and our own center through that process takes some time, and we want to be as gentle and loving as we can with it. So that's your takeaway. And your tip is to actually, if you start to recognize aspects of you that are feeling not good enough, or feeling fearful to try something or to express something or to offer something, then call that part of you forward and just practice it just like that. I call the part of me forward that is nervous, that is insecure, that is feeling I don't have self-esteem in this area. And then just ask, what do you need? What do you need to heal? And or is this a part of me that has been conditioned like this, and I just need to retrain my thought patterning? I just need to work with this conditioning a little bit and start to choose differently. So again, we'll kind of get a sense of that. So invitation is, keep asking, who am I? What are my values? Knowing what my values are, being clear on that. And then, am I in alignment to my own values as well? And can I just really experience each day and each moment with ease? And can I give myself the grace to allow myself to be in this process, not worrying about, what's going to be like on the other side. It's just allowing. This is what really resonates with me right now, and this is where I'm at right now. Can I just allow myself to be here, and can I come into some type of enjoyment of where I'm at right now, or peace of where I'm at right now? All right, have an amazing day. Namaste.